Folks, hello and welcome to week two. What I thought I would do is talk about my big purchase that I would like to make and go through this in the context of the discussion post, and hopefully this will answer any questions if you're unclear about what it is we're supposed to be doing this week on this discussion post. So what is it? What is my big purchase that I'm hankering for? Well, I would love to have a putting green in my backyard. I live on the coast of Florida, and I am a golf fanatic. And sometimes when I want to just get out and have a little fun, I have to drive 20 minutes to the golf course, and hopefully there's some space on the putting green for me to do a little practicing to get my game in a little better shape. But if I had this beauty in my backyard, I'd be out there all the time. I'd probably even find a way to put some lights out there, and I'd be out there at all hours of the night having a little fun and getting the game back in shape. So I'm going to use that as my motivation to go through this discussion post here. And let me start with the end in mind. So I'm going to make some assumptions about what it would cost to purchase this beauty and have it in my backyard, how much interest I would be paying, and then the number of years that I'm willing to take to pay it off. And so with that in mind, the two questions that I want to answer is, if I borrow this money, how much interest am I going to pay? And then considering that, and also the principal to purchase the putting green, how much am I going to pay each month? And then I will use those two nuggets to help me understand whether or not I'm willing to make this sort of investment to have this great looking putting green in my backyard. And so really the focus of this week, as we talk about financial decision making, we're going to use a formula that helps us compute what's called simple interest. And that simple interest is found by multiplying a principal that we're going to borrow, in our case, times an annual interest rate, and then multiplied by the time in years that we are going to take to pay the loan off. And in simple terms, this is I equals PRT, or interest equals principal times rate times time. And in the discussion, broadly speaking, strategically speaking, as we kind of take this up to the strategic level, as we get into problem solving, we'll notice that there's oftentimes a relationship between variables that will help us solve a problem, and then other times there won't be. So in this case, this week, we're going to take advantage of this equation for computing simple interest, and using it, it will help us understand or answer these questions about what amount of interest are we going to pay over the term of the loan, and then we can also figure out what the monthly payment would be. So again, my assumptions here is that this putting green in my backyard is going to cost $20,000. I'll assume that I'm going to pay an interest rate of 7.5%, and I am willing to take 7 years to pay it off. And I put out here equivalently, if I take 7 years to pay it off, 7 times 12, excuse me, that would require me to make 84 equal payments. And so with this in mind, I want to answer two questions. The first being, how much interest am I going to pay if I borrow $20,000 at 7.5% for 7 years? So I'll go up here and answer that question. If you want to do this in Excel or with a calculator, whatever you like or whatever your preference is fine with me. So if you're using Excel, when you want to compute a value, you always start with an equality sign, and that way Excel knows it's going to compute a value for you. So using interest equals principal times rate times time, the principal is $20,000, and then if I hit Shift 8, that little asterisk means that I'm going to multiply that times my interest rate. So if I convert 7.5% to a decimal, that'll be 0.075, and then I'm willing to take 7 years to pay it off. So times 7, and if I hit Enter, wow, I'm paying almost 50% of the cost of the putting green in interest, so $10,500 just for the interest, right? So I'm already starting to reconsider this purchase. Maybe I need a smaller putting green, or maybe I need to save some money and not pay $10,500 in interest. And so the next question is, if I'm willing to do this, what am I going to pay every month in order to get this beauty in my backyard? So what we need to think about here is the total amount of money that we have to pay back, which is the principal plus the interest, and then assuming we're making equal payments each month, that would be divided by 84, and that'll tell us how much we're going to pay monthly. So the total amount that I'm going to pay back here, and I'm going to put this in parentheses because I want to divide this sum by 84 here. So I'm paying back the principal, $20,000 plus this really curious amount of interest. Am I really going to pay this amount of interest for this putting green? $10,500. So I'm paying back $30,500, and I'll divide that by 84 payments. And it looks like I'm paying $363.10 each month to have this putting green in my backyard. So a little over $10 a day for a putting green. So I'm hoping I'm going to be out there every day if I'm going to make this sort of investment to have a putting green in my backyard. So anyhow, this is the approach on this discussion post for week 2. I've really enjoyed taking a look at this putting green as I've gone through this with you. Wow, what a great investment to have this in my backyard. I know I would get a lot of enjoyment out of it. The question is, am I willing to spend, number one, $20,000 in principal, and then another $10,500 in interest to have it in my backyard? Maybe I will scale, like I said, scale this thing down, or I'll save my money and try to at least avoid this interest payment. So I hope this is helpful. As the course developer said, think big and have a little bit of fun with this. I think the two things that we really want to get focused on here in the end are how much interest are we going to be paying based on this simple interest calculation, and then realizing how much it's going to cost us each month for our big investment. So I hope this is helpful. Have a great week, and if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Take care.